Ma'am, can you send this recording after the class?
Yes, sure. After
Okay,
every
ma'am.
recording, this will be saved to the drive and you can contact your CS person to share the link with you.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, this is there for every webinar. So I'll
Thank you,
just
ma'am.
share my screen.
Okay.
So I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So today we'll be starting with a new design, with a new kitchen design, starting from making the basic template up to adding accessories to the different furniture and different types of cabinets, etc. So first, what we normally start with is a clean dashboard, and there will be an option to start a new design. So we simply click on this thumbnail after opening a project, and you will be already presented with a lot of templates already. So for the sake of this particular design, we'll be starting with a simple room design. So you'll be selecting this room template so that we know where to start from. Also, yes, I'd like to add that in case anybody has any doubts in the middle of the session, please note them down so that we can take them up
श्वेता
at
मैम
the
का लैपटॉप लेके आएगा प्लीज अंदर से श्वेता मैम को बोल दो
yes. Just give me a moment. I think somebody else is presenting as well. All right, thank you. So if there are any questions in the middle of the session, please note them down and hold them to the end of the session. At that time, the floor will be open to any kind of questions. Is the screen visible to everyone?
Yes.
I'll just share it again. So I'll resume presenting. Great. All right. So after we have selected the room template, so we'll be by default we'll be presented with this kind of a room. We'll see that the walls are already there, some lightings are there already, and we have a window and a door. So you can see that this is, and when we go to 3D, we can see that this is already in a full flow mode. And in order to enter the room mode, we click on select room in the toolbar and we click on the name of the room. So you'll be getting a view like this. So when we go to floor plan, for example,
Hi, Jonah. Just to inform, your screen is disappeared. So if you could reshare, please.
sure, I'll just, I think
your screen is
someone called
visible
Preeti Bisht is presenting. Yes, if she can stop sharing, I'll just. All right. Just let me know if the screen is visible. I can start it from the beginning if you want, but it's visible now, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. So just to start from the very beginning, so when we open Infurnia.com, we'll be presented with a completely blank slate. And from there, we can click on start a new design. That's the thumbnail that usually turns up whenever you want to start a new design. So normally you can start from scratch, but for the sake of this particular webinar, because we are going to be using the room as a base, we can actually choose the room template, which is already available to you by default. So when you select room, you will now actually be entering this new room design that has been created. And here we can see when you go to the ground floor, you'll be able to see the entire floor. So it's just this one room. So you can see that this has already been named kitchen 1. So when you click inside the room, you can see that the name of this kitchen is there and the type also is there of the kitchen. So we can set the type to kitchen. There are other types of rooms here, but since we are creating a kitchen, this is what we'll be naming it as. And the name can be anything that you like. The reason that we set the type to kitchen is so that when we add the furniture later, it'll be narrowed down to any all kitchen related furniture, and it'll be easier for you as well. Another thing to consider apart from room label and type, so when you click on any of these walls, you can see that the internal dimensions will be presented towards you. So this is 4300 in width internally, and if you select this adjoining wall, it is 3700. So these are the internal dimensions. If you want to resize this room, so for example, if you want to make it 45 into 4500, you simply need to click on the inside of this dimension and type in the desired dimension. This way it'll get stretched accordingly, and you can do the same for the other dimension as well. So this is a very simple way of resizing your room. Of course, when you draw your walls, etc., like for example, when you select wall tool and then you draw, it normally takes a center line and that's how the length is considered. But if you want to change that, if you want to change the location line, now if I press space bar, for example, now the length that is considered is here, and then you can type in whatever width that you want. But in this case, instead of doing all this from scratch, you can use this room template and you can resize this room as shown here. So once you're done with that, for the sake of this design, I will be deleting this compass. And if there are any lights that you want to delete, what you can do is you can do a window selection. You can click on one side of the room, one side of the screen, and drag your mouse. And you can delete, you can select these lights and you can press the delete key. Here also, when you open in the left-hand panel, furniture/lights units, you can click on remove furniture or light units. This is in case your delete key doesn't work. If you want, you can also resize your doors and windows to begin with. So you can click on this window. For example, currently it is at 900. You can type in the width manually, or you can even type in the dimension also manually. So I'm going to make this 1500. And you can just drag it somewhere to resize it, or you can shift it in a certain direction. So you can even determine the distance from this to the wall. Let's say I'm going to type in 700. So in this way also you can control where the window is being placed. And in 3D also you can change the height. And same with the door as well. So for now, I'll just be dragging the window this side because I'll be creating some cabinetry over here. So once you've resized the doors, window, etc., just to show you the 3D view, when you select 3D, you'll be getting this kind of a view when you're in the ground floor view. However, now if you select the room in this upper bar and select the name of the room you want to enter, the advantage is that whenever you are designing inside this room, there won't be any wall that is blocking your way, which will make it far easier for you to actually create your particular kitchen, especially placing cabinets, etc. And even this window now, if you want to see its size, you can change its height in the left-hand panel. You can even make this something like 2000, and you can change its elevation to maybe something closer to ground level. But this is up to you. So after you have changed the room size and everything. This you can change later onwards. What a lot of people prefer when working with the internal designs, interior designs, is they want to change the project units. So from to feet and inches. So to do that, you go to view, you select the view tab, you click on project units, and right now it is set to millimeter. You can change this to feet inch. And in this drop down next to inch accuracy, you can actually change the dimension to millimeter. Hi, am I audible now?
Yes, you are out.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, I think I'd been muted. So Yeah. So in any case, to change your project unit, in case anyone's missed it, you select view, you select project units, you select feet inch, and then in the inch accuracy drop down menu, there are a lot of accuracies already listed. You can choose any of them. Preferably, you can choose something like 1/4 or 1/8. So once you change your project units, the now that the room settings have been done, so what is the next important thing is actually setting preferences. By a lot of people, a lot of users tend to ask how to set the preferences for kitchen, but actually what they mean is how to set the preferences for cabinets. Like if they have a certain finish in mind that they don't want to put for each and every cabinet once they set it in the room, then they can set it in advance. So the advantage of that is that if they have something in mind, they can do this right away instead of doing this later on. So to set the preferences for cabinets, you go to global preference and settings in the left hand panel, and you have to select preferences icon at the bottom left. Herein, in preferences that opens up, you select the preferences, click on active save this drop down menu and set it to cabinet, which means you'll be setting the preferences for cabinets now. So under cabinet preferences, you see the various items for which you can actually set the different types of preferences. So for example, now I'm just going to put in a cabinet, a base cabinet, so that I can show each and every part of this. And I'll just right click on this door so that you can see the cabinets inside. So when I'm setting the preferences here, when I click on preferences, so we have carcass, shutter, handle, countertop, etc. Supposing we are in the carcass section now, and we can set it for, let's say, core material. Core material is basically for, let's say this panel is there. Each panel has three components: the internal finish, the core material, and the external finish. So the core material, when I switch on this toggle to enable it, a carousel will open up from where you can actually choose the type of ply that you want: 6 mm, 8 mm. We have different categories as well: glass ply, MDF, etc. So that's up to you, whatever you can choose. I'll just choose it BWR ply. So I'm just selecting this 12 mm ply and the preference has been set. So as you can see, this is not taken place in this cabinet that I've set. This is because these preferences are only going to be set for future whatever cabinets I place afterwards. So this one I've placed earlier is not going to be affected. I've just placed it here to show you what the different parts. Similarly, we have the backcore material as well. So this is the backcore material. There's a reason why the backcore material is treated as a separate entity. It's because normally the back material is actually for this. So the reason we keep this, normally we keep it as a thinner component, because since it is less exposed to the air, the elements, so we tend to keep this a little thinner so that we don't have to use as much of material. So for these two, actually, we can set the core material. And of course, there are things like internal finish, external finish, etc. So let's say we want all our future cabinets to have some kind of a wooden finish. So if I choose the external finish for my carcass, if I switch this on, then I can actually choose. So we have the categories here. We have acrylic, glass, laminate, etc. If you want wooden, you can stick to the veneer category, and you can actually choose from the various options that you have here. If you have a certain name in mind, suppose I wanted something like Siberian oak, I just type in the name of that material in the search bar. And if it is not there, it might be in laminate as well. So I'll just type in the name of this material, Siberian oak. So it comes in wood grain. So I can choose it for this. Now, once again, it's not going to be reflected here. It'll be reflected in all our future cabinets. This I can show when you select furnish, click on furniture base unit. So now you may have noticed that whatever I've placed now is different. Like the type of ply used is different, the external finish is different, unlike this one. So whatever I've placed after setting the preferences, those properties have changed. So in this way, we can actually change the rest of the materials as well in the preferences. So, so for internal finish, we can select this and we can make this like a lighter shade of wood. And we also have different types of edge bands. So what are edge bands? So we have back visible edge bands, carcass edge bands, etc. So basically what edge bands are, you see these green edges that you in the cabinets. So these are the visible edge bands. So whatever are the exposed edges of the panels, those if you choose, you can put them as visible edge bands. And let's say between these two panels, there is obviously going to be a side of the this top panel which is not visible right now. Whatever is hidden, it's up to you whether to place invisible edge bands or not. But if you are, those are going to be called invisible edge bands. So basically, whatever sides of the panels are not going to be visible to you at all, it's concealed by other panels when they're overlapping each other like this. Those are invisible edge bands. So you can set your visible edge bands. So I can just put this carcass visible edge band. So when you select this, you can either click on no edge band or you can click on the name of the edge band. You can select this to change it. And you can choose from any of these options available to you. The same way it applies to shelf as well. So invisible also you can set. Carcass. So for the carcass, excluding back, so I'm not counting the back panel. So if you want it for the front edge bands, and you can open this, you can switch this on. And then you can click on the edge band, click to change against that particular option. And you can choose the name of you can choose the material that you want. The same applies if you want, you can select this for invisible edge band as well. Another common problem that a lot of users face is that even after setting the edge bands, it is not visible at all. So how to make sure that is visible? So in under preferences, instead of cabinet, you need to select visualization and just ensure that your visualize edge band is it's just set to true. If I select false, that means now the edge bands have disappeared. It's not green anymore. It is taking on the color of their panels, external finish. If I select true, the edge bands have returned. So you just make sure you keep that while you're putting your edge bands. So coming back to cabinet. So in this manner, you can set this for, so back visible edge bands is for whatever comes in the back panel at the back of this carcass. And the shelf visible edge bands. So suppose I am adding a shelf here. I click here and I select partition tab and I select one shelf. That means this is the edge band which is going to be considered when we are setting the preference for that. So this also we can switch on. And we can choose a different color just to showcase what it'll look like later on when we are placing the cabinets. So of course, that is for the carcass. Now if we select shutter, you can see other options here like design, external finish, internal finish, etc. Now all these other options like external, internal, the same principle applies as it did for the carcass panels as well. So you can set that, but I'll just explain what it means to set the design, the shutter design. So right now we have this plain shutter. So if you click on shutter and you switch on the design toggle for this, now a carousel will open up here. So instead of wardrobe, we click on cabinet shutter. And we have several types as well. So we have wooden, we have glass, aluminum, decor, fluted, etc. So wooden, we can just select one. So I'm just going to be selecting this shutter 4. And let's say I want to change the external finish as well, which means I want a laminate, a solid one. So I'll just open the laminate section, click on solid, and I'll choose this almond color. So this is all going to be set for whatever cabinet I put later on. So when I click on handle now, so now what happens? So far, if I put in after setting all these so far, now when I put a base unit, you can see the obvious changes that have been created. So we can draw a comparison like this. So whatever we have placed here and so on. So these are the differences that have happened. And if we set the preferences for the remaining also, you will see more changes in the next cabinet that you place in. So for shutter, etc., we know what kind of changes it can make. So core material, visible edge band, etc. So basically, the edge band in this case is the edges of this shutter panel. So we can skip over shutter and we can go over handle. So handle, we have 3 types that we can set the handle preference for. We have the shutter handle, which is basically this. So when I select enable for shutter handle, so now we can you can choose whatever shutter handle that we want for this. And if you don't want an ordinary handle, so we have decor handles, we have knobs, we have surface handles, and we have wardrobe handles as well. If you want Gola profiles, you can open this category drop down menu and you can select profile or Gola handles. And you can choose from any of these available handles that you see here. For now, I'm going to choose like a J profile and I'm going to change, you can change the color here as well from this drop down menu. I'm going to select anodized silver. And this is just for the shutter handle. We have also for external drawer and internal drawer. So for external drawer, we can just enable for now. And if we can keep the similar Gola profile handle for this, and maybe internal drawer, we can keep a knob handle. You can open this and you can select enable. So of course, so talking about the shutter design, so you may have noticed that the carousel that we have right now, these are not all the shutters that we have in our inventory right now. So if there are more shutters, that you want to add, you can actually add it from your warehouse. For any further information on how to do that, so we have the intercom button here. When you select that and you can type in a message like how to add from warehouse. And there'll actually be some articles suggested for you. So how to add new products from the Infurnia warehouse to your catalog. Supposing you want some new shutter designs or anything that is not in a carousel already, you can select this and there will be an article for you, article waiting, showing you how to add different types of shutter designs, cabinets, furniture, etc. So this you can refer to later and I can elaborate on this in case anyone has any doubts at the end of the session. For now, we'll gloss over this. So now that handles have been covered, so we also have countertop preferences. So you can select the finish of this countertop along with the countertop ply core material, etc. So the countertop finish is basically what you see at the top here. and the countertop ply core material external finish and internal finishes, what happens is when you scroll down and you hide this countertop, so this is basically what they're talking about. So that is what they're referring to as the countertop ply. So it is this top panel, and the finish is this the countertop slab that has been placed already. We can even set the preference for skirting. This is especially useful for kitchen. As of now, the skirting type is disabled. So when you open this, so for kitchen, we normally use a non-wooden type of skirting. So you can set it to that if you want. And you can even set your material from this catalog. Let's say I'm going with the brushed steel. And skirting visibility is also there. So when you switch on this toggle, you'll see that you can switch on the skirting from all sides. So right now it is just by preference set in the front. But if you want, you can set this for left, right, back as well, and for the blind side as well. So normally by default, it is only set by the front. So I can keep this front on. So this is for skirting itself. Construction we can gloss over for now because most of these have already been set in the admin portal. So now when we select elevation, we have two options to set. So we have the wall unit elevation and we have the base unit elevation. When you click on the base unit elevation, you can see that by default, it is already half inch above the ground level. The reason that is the case is because it has to accommodate the tiling as well. You can set it to 0 also, but that means it will be submerged within the tiling. But for wall unit elevation, so right now it is by default kept at 4 feet 7 inches and 2 by 16th of an inch. But this also is something that you can change. So let's say I'm going to create this at 5 feet, 5 feet and 8 inches above the 8.5 above the ground level. I'm just keeping it 5 feet and half inch above the ground level. So because I'm taking the tiling also into account. So while this base unit is kept at half inch above the ground, the wall unit elevation will also be kept at this much plus extra 5 feet above the ground. So I'll just press enter to save all these changes. So of course, all of these have been set. So whatever future cabinets that you placed will be following all these rules. So that's about preferences. So the reason we change the preferences because although some materials you can change, some properties of these cabinets you can collectively change. Things like elevation, core material, etc., you cannot change collectively. So that's why we set them. So once we have set the required preferences also, the other advantage is that if you are using these type of materials in all of your designs, then you can even save this as a template and these preferences will be saved for you to use in the future. Now comes on how to add different types of units. So we can start with placing columns and beams if necessary. So just a recap, so we can go to the floor plan mode here and we can go to architecture and select profile columns. We have the option of selecting profile or cuboidal columns. If you want to change the shape of this later on, then profile columns are usually what you can use. And if you want to add skirting and cornice and tiling to your columns, then you need to use cuboidal ones. For now, we'll just use profile ones. And you can see the square column will be attached to your cursor. And then it'll just snap to the corner. So once that is there, you can select this column. And in the left-hand side, you can actually you can edit this profile. On the other hand, if you use a cuboidal column, then you can snap it here, press escape, and you can actually drag the extents to make it larger. And you can even change the width and length here. So let's say 2 feet of width I'm using. So I'm typing in 2 feet here and 1 foot of length. So you'll be getting this kind of a column. So this is just one thing you can do with your columns, and in 3D it will appear like this. And you can copy this everywhere. How do you copy it? You can either select this, and while pressing the Alt key, you can make columns like this. So that is one way to do. That's a shortcut. Or you can select architecture, copy, and select this base point here, and just click on the destination point here. And in this way, you can keep adding your columns. For now, I will leave the space here. If you want, you can place another one. I'll just select Alt, and your columns are placed. And for now, I'll delete this. Now, what we need to do is you can place beams as well. So to place a beam, just select architecture again, select beam, and you can place it anywhere that you want. Press escape, and you can rotate this beam once. You can even drag it to snap to the ground, like to snap to the columns, and you can resize it as well, and it will snap immediately. And in this way, you can actually stretch it so that it will match the size of the columns. And in 3D, when you take a look, this is how the beam will be added. You can even change the elevation as well. Over here is 7 feet 8, 10 inches above the ground right now. But by default anyway, it would more likely be placed at the correct height. But you can always change it. Now for adding the rest of the furniture, so how do we go about doing that? So we'll normally start with a tall unit. So we go to floor plan, and we ensure that we are in the kitchen view. We ensure that we're not on the ground floor view, we are in the kitchen view. Reason for that is, so when we select insert now and we select furnish, you can see that since the room type has been set to kitchen, because the room type is set to kitchen, so when we enter the room mode and we click on furnish, you can see that all kitchen related furniture has already been narrowed down for us. So I simply, instead of clicking on all and searching for the correct furniture, I can just shrink this, click on kitchen furniture, and I'll select a tall unit of my choice. Now let's say I want one with appliance units. So we have different types, drawer units, we have open units, but I want an appliance unit. I'll just select this. And in 3D also, I can show how it'll look like now. If I click on tall unit and I click on oven slash plus microwave unit. So now you can see that whatever preferences I've set, like the Gola profiles, the external profile, external finish, internal, etc., all of it has been set in this stall unit that I've placed now. And when you go to floor plan, you can easily drag it. If you want to rotate it, a quick way to rotate it is by pressing the space bar. So it'll toggle its direction. In 3D also, it can do that. And you can drag it in here as well. In floor plan, you can drag it to the end. You can make this cover up the entire height also if you want. For now, I'll not be doing that. And you can see that when you click on this in the left hand side, you'll see options for width, depth, and height. But what if I want to add a filler, 50 filler on this side of the tall unit, because I don't want the tall unit to touch the wall. So how do we start with that? So earlier, the feature we had was we were only able to shift this towards the left by 50 That is, if we went to position rotation here and we shifted the x-axis or something by that much distance minus 50 But in this case, what we can do is, let's say I am moving it by 2 inches. I want to move this by 2 inches. So I click on architecture now. I select move this time. I simply click on, I make sure that I'm on graphical. I just click on the base point of this. It can be anywhere because I know in which direction I want to move it. And then I move my mouse in the general direction. Then what do? I type 2 inches and I press enter. Now you can see this has been moved exactly by 2 inches towards the left. So that now we can place a tall unit filler. So again, we click on insert, furnish, kitchen furniture, fillers. We select fillers now. We have different types of fillers. We have base unit fillers, we have wall unit fillers, and we have tall unit fillers. So we have the mid tall filler and we have the side and the front panel as well. So in this case, if I go to 3D and I click on fillers and I select this mid tall filler, I'll be getting this front side only, which is exactly what I want. And once it's there, I can simply drag this as well towards its destination. Since I need to make sure this is 2 inches, I can do that by clicking on this filler. And the width, I want to make this 2 inches instead of 3 inches. Then I simply drag this to the gap between the filler. If you wanted to move to the exact location, you can again, as a shortcut, you can type in move, select move here, click on the base point, and then click on the destination point. So now it is inline, which means in 3D also it is there. So you can remove this countertop. You can remove this countertop slab by scrolling down, and in countertop, just clicking on the height toggle and just making this match the height of this tall unit. So this one is 6 feet and 5 inches. I'll just make this 7 feet, exactly 7 feet. And I'll do the same with this filler as well. So now we have a filler that is matching the cabinet. The only thing is that it doesn't have that profile that we can actually change. So shutter, if we click on this shutter here, shutter tab, select handle, select apply handle, and then choose the same Gola profile handle that I had applied for the tall unit as well. So now it matches. So once the tall units have been added, so we can add different types of units now. So going back to floor plan, or we can remain here also. You can select furnish, kitchen furniture, and we can add base units now. When we select that, we have a variety of different types of units like shutter units, drawer units, pull out units, etc. So I'm going to select, let's say we want to pull out unit, like a spice pull out unit. I'll just select this. And it will be automatically added. So when I move my mouse in the 3D, it aligns itself to the wall. So you can just select anywhere. And later on, we have these arrows here. You can click on this blue arrow. And what it'll do, it'll actually snap itself to the wall. So you'll feel that when the unit snaps itself to this wall, and you can drag this red arrow, you can click, hold, and drag this red arrow. And when it highlights in red, that means it is touching the neighboring cabinet. So this is a very easy way to align the cabinets in 3D. And in this manner, actually, we can do this for the remaining cabinets as well. So after adding the pull-out units, we can try adding some drawer units as well. Go to furnish, kitchen furniture, base unit, click on drawer unit. Can add 2 drawer units here. And in the same way, actually, you can place it. You can drag this red arrow and you can wait for it to the box to highlight in red. And in this way, it'll actually be aligned with the spice pull-out unit. So once you have placed this kind of a shutter, once we have placed this kind of a base unit, we can change the width also a little bit to 2 feet wide. And in floor plan, if you want to edit it further, you can drag it and it'll anyway attach itself as you drag it. So now we can add shutter units as well. So in floor plan, you can go to furnish, you can click on kitchen furniture, base unit, and you can add shutter units. So bear in mind, so when we're adding these types of units, you can even change the shutter units into drawer units and so on later on. But for now, we can use whatever other furniture units available already in our carousel. So for example, let's say I'm making this 2 feet as well. And in floor plan, I'm just going to drag this. And let's say I want to copy this instead of clicking on furnish and adding the same thing again and again. I want to copy this particular cabinet twice more, 2 more times. So in that case, we can actually use the array tool. So taking into consideration that this is going to be, this cabinet is 2 feet wide. So when we go to floor plan, what we can do is we can click on architecture and we can click on copy. But in the left hand panel, instead of putting the mode at copy, we can set this at multiply at a fixed distance. Fixed distance because we have the center to center distance in mind, which is 2 feet, because that's the width of this cabinet. So when we click on multiply straight fixed distance, we can see that in this option, we can set this to 2 feet, 0 inches, 0 inches, and we can press enter. So once we do that, then I just have to click on any part of this and then I just move my mouse in any direction. Now you can see a preview of units being formed. So until when I see 2 squares being formed, I just click once and you can see 2 more cabinets have been placed. So you can see that the same thing has happened here. So all that is required now is you can go ahead and place a corner unit also if you like. You can go to floor plan. Once again, since we can't copy and we can't edit this into a corner unit, we'll have to go to insert, furnish, and we can go to base unit again, but we have corner units. So you can select this and we can choose the first one. So we have this we have this corner unit. You can see that it is falling within the line, it's falling within the room corner correctly. But if you want, in the left hand panel, you can see that it is there are some options like front, back, side, back, etc. Let's say I just delete this beam. So now you can see it's not exactly falling inside where it should be. So front, back is actually referring to when I type in, let's say 4 feet in the front back field, you can see that this is the side that's going to be affected. So what we need to do is we want to affect this side. So that would be the side, that in that case would be the side left. If I type in side back, this is also the wrong one. So this is the front back, this is the side back, and the side left, you can change it to, let's say, 2 feet. And the front right, if you change it to 2 feet, this is going to be affected. So what you can do is you can drag this cabinet all the way to the back until it touches these walls, and you can edit this particular edge, which in this case is a front back. So by how much distance we should fix it? We go to home, we select the measuring tool, and we just find out the distance that needs to be covered, which is 6 2 by 8 of an inch. So we just add that here in front back. So we type in 6 2 by 8. So we add 2 more inches here. So that's 7. And 2 by 8 is 4 by 16. So we type in 9 by 16 here. Sorry, this was 11 inches because we need to add 6 here. So now it is correct. So this is how you can accommodate. So this is the front back. This is the front back. This is the side back. The side left is what happens in the front, and the front right is this side. So you can keep that in mind. So in this way, this is how your corner unit can be added. So now we have these countertops here. And apart from the corner units, we can also add the wall units now. So what happens in floor plan, we can select this and we can go to this time. Instead of insert, we can click on furnish, furniture accessories, and instead of base unit, you click on wall unit. This will actually ensure that by default is going to be placed at the height we set in the preferences. So let's say wall unit we place here. We choose a simple shutter unit, and I'm going to place it here itself. And in 3D, it is by default kept at 5 feet above. So I can just rotate this by pressing the space bar. And if I want, I can array this as well. So width, I can keep this at 2 feet again. And if you want, you can array these, or you can add the same types of units as applied to the drawer units as applied to the base units as well. Simply type in copy as a shortcut, and you can set the array at a fixed distance. You can keep it at 2 feet because I've set that as the length of this cabinet. And then just move your mouse in the direction that you want. So for now, I'm just keeping this here. And in 3D, you can actually see that this has been arrayed properly at the distance of 5 feet. This you can adjust later. So height, I'll just keep this at around 6. So in this way, yes, 1 second.
हाँ
I'll
out कर
just.
दो
So after placing wall units, you may have also noticed that in this category, we had something called in wall units. If you see, you have open shelves as well. So in these you can place, we can place 2 shelves here. And it, according to the internal finish that has been set up, you can just place these shelves in this manner. So it will be in line. You can, in floor plan, you can make sure that they're in line with the cabinets. But in this case, they are. But you can drag it and make sure. And of course, you can place a loft as well. So loft is a different thing. So let's say before we place a loft, we want to keep an end panel for this particular wall cabinet. So you can do this with any kind of cabinet, but especially for the wall cabinets. So if you select this cabinet and click on the construction tab, you can select end panel drop down menu. And in this particular drop down menu, end panel depth, you can choose this to be carcass depth with shutter or without shutter. So this is just carcass depth. And if you want, you can keep it with shutter. And then to add one on the left, you can select left end panel. So now an end panel that is flush with this particular shutter has been added. If you want to delete it, you can again select left end panel, which is highlighted in red, and it will be deleted. Now I'll just put a left end panel here that is flush with the shutter. So these are how you can change the different wall units. So let's say this is just a part of the kitchen. And even after you've placed all these units, you can change many things like shutter design, material, etc. So let's say you want to change a shutter design. If you select this wall unit, we want to change this to a glass shutter, for example. You can actually press shift, and while pressing shift, you can select multiple of these cabinets. And in the left hand panel, or an easier thing to do is you can just click on one place, make a window, and then you can just include all of these, so that even if you were to add include other things as well. So in cabinet corner unit 6, you will see that you can open this menu and you'll see all the common properties for whatever you have selected. So now you can change the shutter design. So we have this option called change shutter. And in the window that opens, you can click to change shutter, because these all have the same type. So that's why you have only one thumbnail available. So let's say you want to change it to glass, you can just now choose the shutter that you want. So now collectively, these have all been changed. You can change this for one also. If you just want to change it for one, you can select just one, click on the shutter tab, shutter design, ensure you're set to normal, click on change shutter. And then maybe this one, you can give it a different design. So this is for collective. We can collectively select and change materials. If you want to change materials for some of these, you can click on, let's say, this corner unit, and these two, you can change the cabinet/corner unit. See, even if I select like a column by mistake, or if I did a right click, like I click on right select, and from right to left, I select all of this. That means that now you'll be able to still change it for only the cabinet units. So in cabinet corner units, I open this drop down menu, ignoring all these walls, doors, slabs, etc. that have been selected. Open the properties for that and change the material. I click on change material. I select, in this case, shutter material, and I change the external finish to either what's already been used, or I click on fetch from store. And I can choose something that has not been used earlier. Let's say I'm going with this color. So now collectively, the shutter color will change for everything. And you can see that you can collectively change the handle, you can change the type of handle used, you can change the carcass material, etc., internal finish, core material, etc. You just won't be able to change the overall elevation for this. So even after placing these cabinets, you can change them collectively. And in that way, you can also collectively hide some particular furniture. So right now what we have is, in the left hand panel, the global preference and settings. If I open this layer sets, you have this furniture layer, and if I click on this hide icon, all of them will be hidden. But what if I want to hide only some of them? Let's say I want to hide these particular units. So when I do so, when I select them, you can see the drawing layer that has been used. What you can do instead is you can assign this to a layer called hidden, which is already there. So we already have by default a layer called hidden. And now what happens is, when I go to layer settings and I hide the hidden layer, that means only those selected items will be hidden. So that is how you can hide certain things of your choice by using layers. You can also customize drawers. So let's say we can change the drawer height. So let's say we have these two drawers, and I want to change the height of one of them. So for that, when we go to drawer, we have to go to the drawer tab in the left hand panel. and select draw parameters. Now, you may notice that we have something called fixed height. Right now, this is not switched on, which is why this is adjustable. But if I select this bottom drawer and I select drawer and draw parameters, the height is fixed over here. So in one of these, in these these kind of drawer units, at least one should be adjustable so that the others will be fixed or divided accordingly. So, so for fixed height, I will just type in something like 1 foot instead. And now you can see it has been changed. But always make sure that at least one of the drawers, whether it's one drawer, two drawer, three drawers, one of them should have an adjustable height so that you can change the height of the others. And we can even change the drawer type. So let's say I want to change this drawer type to wicker basket. So for that, you need to select this drawer, then click on the drawer tab, and then click on drawer, go to drawer accessories. In accessory type, set it to basket. You can set it to tandem box as well, but in this case, you can choose basket if you want to add a wicker basket. Now in the options that opens up, we have many different types of options that we can use, bottle pullouts, stall baskets, etc. But if you have a certain model in mind, I'm going to type in wicker basket in the left in the search bar. And now we have these two models available. I select this and now it has been converted into a wicker basket. When I right click on this drawer to open it, you can see that this has been added, but I don't want this panel to be there. So what we do is in the drawer tab, we against draw fascia design, I switch off show. Now you can see this wicker basket has been added fully without it's been exposed. And if I want to change this wicker basket's height, suppose I don't want this to take up the entire height, I select this and I need to go to furniture/light unit because that is what will make it get selected. Otherwise, I'll be changing the drawer properties. Whatever gets selected in orange is the thing that you will be editing. So in this case, it's the wicker basket. So now you can change the height in the dimension section. Let's say I'm changing this to 150 and I press enter. Normally that should happen, but I think because this is fixed, it has not happened. But for other accessories that you place inside it, it would have the height would change. So you can also change the odd drawer shutter. So if you want to change this drawer fascia, you have to select this drawer, click on drawer fascia instead of shutter. And in shutter design, that will open up in the left-hand panel. You can follow the same process. So you can again click on change shutter and you can choose something different. This aluminum glass, for example, I can change this to something else. So now I have this option as well. And if I don't like this profile that I've used, I can change this handle as well. So I go to drawer, I go to handle, and I click on change handle. And I choose a better colored handle. I choose this anodized silver and I select the thumbnail. So now this handle has been changed. You can do this for this as well. So these are just the basics on how you can add like different types of units. But now you also can add things like countertop, hob, accessories, sink, etc. How to add a hob? We need to select this. We can click on the countertop to which you want to add this and scroll down to the left hand panel, scroll down and open the countertop drop down menu and click on the option called, there's an option called add accessory. When you open this, scroll down until you find hob. And then you can open this carousel, we have cooktops and we have these built-in hobs as well. So you can just choose one of your liking. And that's how you can add a hob here. And in a similar manner, you can actually add a lot more accessories to this as well. For example, if I select this countertop, I again, using the countertop menu itself, you can add different types of accessories. So you have kitchen props, miscellaneous items, you have plants, clocks, etc. Let's say I'm just choosing this miscellaneous, for example, or kitchen props. You can open this and you can see others. And we have these options such as different types of mugs, book sets, glass, etc. If that's not a good one, you can select kitchen props instead. And we have dado accessories, stands. We can add a fruit basket. We can select it and it'll actually be added as part of the countertop. If you want to delete this basket, especially if you have not added this as a loose furniture, you have added as a countertop related accessory, then you have to, if you press delete, then it'll get the whole cabinet will get deleted. What happens is you need to select this, select furniture light unit so that now this gets selected in orange, and then click on furniture, remove furniture slash light unit. So that's how it gets deleted. Now this particular unit, for example, let's say I want to add a sink. I'll just extend this side left a bit to 2 feet instead. Side back, I'll change it to around 4 feet. Let's just say, for example, and to this countertop, I'll be adding a sink. So you click on countertop again. Now, instead of add accessory, you have to select add sink. We have, when we open this, a carousel of different types of sinks. And we have tapless as well. It's the same sink, but it'll come without a tap, despite what the picture says. So if I select this handmade sink, now you can see it has been added in the wrong place completely. Let's say this one, I've chosen a tapless one, so it's come without a tap. So to change its properties, you need to first click on the sink, select furniture slash light unit, and then only you'll get the sink properties, like the dimensions of the sink, the position of the sink, etc. If I want it to be placed here on this side, I need to change the rotation. I'm going to rotate this by 90 degrees by selecting here. So now it's been rotated in this manner. And now I can shift it backwards also if I want to. So currently the position is, so this is the X distance and this is the Z distance. Let's say I'm typing in 0 feet here. It's been moved towards the back. And Z in this case, I'll type in 1 feet. So it's moved towards the back. I need to move it towards the front. So I'll type in 3 feet instead. So in this way, you can actually play around with the distance so that you can place the sink correctly. So this 2 feet 5 inches. So now the sink is where I want it to be. Maybe it can be a little further. And you can change the sink dimensions as well. So always click on furniture slash light unit after clicking directly on the sink. And then you can change the width as well. So width you can change to 1 feet 6 inches. So now you're going to get your sink like this. And if you want to delete your sink, select furniture slash light unit and select remove furniture slash light unit after selecting this. Now suppose I open this countertop and I hide this. You can see that the sink is not placed properly. So now it has created a kind of it's created a sort of cavity in the sink. So what you can do is you can also click open construction. You can click on carcass and we have railing options. So we have full rails and we have half top rails under railing options. So we can adjust this as well. You have to select the unit, go to construction, select carcass, And you can change the orientations as well. So this is side. So the sides will get added, and for the front, it'll get added to these ends instead. So it'll actually be easier to understand when you add this to not a corner unit, but an ordinary base unit. And of course, you can change the width of these rails. So now I open carcass, and in railing options, you can see that it is set at 3 inches. So I can reduce this as well. And I can change the top side rail depth also to be 1 inches. So in this way, you can actually reduce the depth. And if you want to show the countertop again, you can click on the quick axis and you can go to countertop and select show. So now it's been added again. If you want to delete this shelf, because in the case of the sink, it doesn't make any sense, then you have to select this shelf, click on panel tab, so that it gets highlighted in orange. And next to shelf, you need to select delete. In the modal that opens up, you can select accept, so that now it'll be completely empty. Apart from adding these kind of accessories to countertop, you can also add it to the internals of this cabinet. So for example, I want to add some items inside this unit. You have to select inside the partition. If I select parent partition 1, that means the whole internal side will get selected. But if I just want the bottom part to be selected, I have to click on partition. So now the sub partition gets picked. Then you go to customize tab in the left hand panel and select other accessories. So built-in appliances, if you click on, you'll be getting things like water purifier, microwave, etc., toaster, other kind of appliances. If you don't want that, you need to select other accessories. You need to select other accessories to put in smaller ones. So from here, you can click on maybe kitchen props. You can choose maybe some condiment sets. I can select one of these. And this, if this is too large, again, you have to click on this furniture light unit. Click on maintain aspect ratio so that it gets reduced proportionally. And the width, etc., I can change it. If that doesn't happen, I'll just refresh this page. So you can select this furniture light unit. Or you can replace this with another smaller unit. So I click on remove furniture light unit. I can delete this panel. And to this partition, actually, I can just go to customize and add an accessory. Like a bowl set, for example. And this one, you can change the position. That's normally how it should be working in your designs. For some reasons, not working in this one. But normally it would work when you add accessories, etc., inside a partition. Now, normally a chimney is added. So how we can add a chimney is, what you can do instead is, let's say I'm adding a chimney in place of this cabinet. So if I delete this, what you can do is I can click on furnish, and we have kitchen accessories. We can open this and you can select chimney. So we have wall mounted chimneys as well, and we have ceiling mounted ones. So you can choose whichever one is appropriate for your design. I'm going to choose the Fiona one. and I'll just place it here. It's attached to my cursor and it snaps itself to the cabinets without me even trying. So it gets highlighted in red when it snaps to something. So just wait until it locks in and then click in place. So now this chimney is there and I want to use a panel to hide this chimney. So what I can do is we have something called custom panels. So you can simply click on furnish again, select all and select custom panel. Since this is for wall unit and we want a vertical custom panel, we just select this subcategory and we choose it for wall unit. So now I can just select this anywhere. I can press spacebar also so that it rotates. But you can just make it snap here, and then in floor plan you can make the rest of the adjustments. So you can click on the center part and then you can just drag it here so that it aligns with the chimney. And this chimney you can actually reduce in depth. So now it is contained inside and it will actually be concealed. You can actually lower it a bit further down if you want. You can drag this arrow and just shift it further down. So you can just for reference, you can see where this chimney is sticking out. You can click on this and you can drag this upwards as well. And of course, you can change its position here. That's for a more exact amount, but you can do this as well. So after this, all that needs to be done is after adding the rest of the units, what you can add are things like dado tiling. So to add that kind of tiling, when you select this wall surface and click on ensure that you're on the wall section tab, select tiling and cutting tool. So right now we have some units already in place. So this is the C14 is the wall shelf. So what we're going to be doing is click on wall tiling and cutting tool. And I just want this portion to have tiling. So I select add, I click on rectangle. And then I just make a rectangle here and I select apply. Now this I select and I can keep this. If I want tiling, then I have to choose tiling. And the depth of the tiling, this will be up to you. I'm keeping it 13 out of 16th of an inch and it is touching the wall. So it is at 0. Right now, this is what the tiling will look like. But you can click on change tiling pattern. And here you can change things like pattern, change pattern. So I can select something like this. And I can change the tile size as well. So if I choose 300, in this case, it's proportionally decreasing and I can click on set. So now it looks like this. And of course, you can change the material as well. Grout color also you can change and the grout line width. So let's say I'm choosing this color. You can choose RGB, SHSL, etc. You can click inside this. And the material also you can change. So let's say I'm choosing this almond color. So this is the type of tiling that is being added. Now when I go back, this is how the dado tiling can be added. If you want to add backsplash to the counter, if I select this, for example, what I'm doing is I click on this, go to countertop, and I select add this countertop drop, and I'm adding it at the back. So I click on add back, and I open this drop down menu. And let's say the height is 3 inch and 15 out of 16, but it's actually sticking down. It's actually here. I want to shift this upwards. So I just on the shift up, I type in 3 inches, 15 out of 16. And then what I do is I simply move it a bit forward. I just drag this a bit forward. So now actually all of these need to be dragged forward once that countertop drop slab has been placed, so that in 3D it'll now appear like this. And in this manner, you need to do that for actually all of your counters as well. That is if you want to apply this. So once you can do that for all your counters as well, and then you can drag them in place. Now a lot of one of the many common questions are on how to add a breakfast table. So you can do that by using nothing but countertop extensions. So let's say I'm using this ordinary base unit, and I'm going to be creating a breakfast table out of it. So I go to floor plan once again. At this point, you know that to add a base unit, you can choose any of these options. I'm selecting this drawer unit of, let's say, 112, like 1200 width, and I just choose this and I place it here. Now in 3D, I want to extend this countertop slab so that it appears like a breakfast table. So for that, I go to countertop here after selecting this, and I click on extension options. Now this is the left side we want to extend. So in left, we type in something like 3 feet, let's say. So now it has been extended. And now we want a slab to go down like this. So we choose countertop drop. We click on add left because that's the side we want. And the height. So you can see the height of this particular panel, this unit is 2 feet and 4 inches, 6 out of 16. So we do that here as well. So next, we just add an extra in countertop drop, we add in an extra 2 feet. And 4 inches. And 6 out of 16. So this is how you can create a breakfast table. And after that, you can just add some finishing touches, like to this countertop, you can add some accessories like kitchen appliances, etc. This toaster I can add, it'll be added here. And then you can click on to add any loose furniture. You can select insert, furnish, and in kitchen furniture, we can add a chair. We have different types as well. So we can choose a stool for this. And we can just place one here. We can place it in this manner. So these are just the basics on how to actually add different types of kitchen furniture. So for now, we won't be focusing on the lighting and rendering part because for that you can actually refer to the lighting and rendering that was done for last week's webinar. So now I think that brings us to the end of the basics of kitchen designing. So if there are any doubts right now the floor is open to you guys for questions.
Ma'am, can you show loft?
Yes. So we go to insert, furnish, and you can either select all or you can select kitchen furniture, and we have the loft option here. So we have the C-frame loft and we have the box loft as well. So you can just choose one. This is the box loft. It's an ordinary one. The only difference is that it's actually not that different from a wall unit actually. 1 second. I'll just select undo. Yes. I'll put a C-type loft just to show how it is different. It's a C-frame loft, right? So this is the one, and in floor plan. So you can see that the bottom panel would be missing for this loft, but you can actually, if you want, switch on those particular sides as well. So let's say this is the loft, and you can change its depth and everything, but you can even add its remaining panels by selecting this construction carcass. Carcass panels visibility is there. You can just select back, and you can select the bottom as well. So now back has been added. In the same way, you can select the bottom panel as well, and that will be visible. But this is up to you. So this you can actually use to even transform your wall units into lofts. So you can use that principle. And yes, another thing I forgot to mention, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the skirting also you can switch on for cabinets here. If you select this and go to construction and skirting options, you can switch on the front, left, back, etc. or under skirting visibility. So now you can switch on skirting as well, and you can switch on or off carcass panels as well. You can go to carcass and you can switch off the top, left, etc. So does it answer your question on how to add lofts and how to how you can actually change even wall units into lofts?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you explain again how to hide the walls and cabinets, one
Yeah.
or two cabinet or one wall?
Yes. Now, whether it's a cabinet or a wall, any kind of object, we have to select this wall. Let's say I'm just hiding this wall, and you can see that when you open the wall tab and see this layer, it is set to walls, which means if you hide all the wall, the entire wall layer, all the walls that are used here will be switched off. But we don't want that. We just want this one wall. So we open this drop down menu and we assign it to a different layer. Let's say we can choose hidden. So we assign this wall to hidden now. Now when we go to this layer sets, you can see hidden, whatever objects are in hidden are currently shown. Like it's not, we didn't hide this layer yet. Even this particular cabinet, you can see that in customize it's assigned to hidden, while this one I have not assigned it to hidden. It is assigned with the rest of the furniture. Now this wall and these cabinets, I have assigned it to this hidden layer. Now when I hide it, I go to layer sets, the bottom left, and I select this hide layer against hidden. Now these have been temporarily, like not temporarily, it's been hidden unless you again choose to unhide it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right. Yes, Akash.
Yeah, hi, John.
Hi.
So regarding the carcass material and the shutter material, we were discussing you told that we need to set a preference. So when it comes to base and the wall material, we'll be using different kind of material. So for example, we are using BWP for the base and
Mhm.
BWR for the wall unit carcass material. So,
Yes.
is there any options for setting out different material, or do we need to set BWP as a preference while keeping uh, base material, and need to change the preferences for keeping the wall material? I mean, placing the wall material.
I got what you mean. So as of now, we just have the separate preferences for cabinets. Cabinets as a whole. This includes everything from the tall units, the wall units, the base units,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
Yes. Having
So
said that, yes, tell me.
yes. We need to provide different carcass material for the base and the wall. So how can we do that?
So that so the fastest way to do that is instead of setting the after you set your preferences, let's say I think base units will whatever forms the majority of your units, you can set preferences for that. Now, supposing you have a few wall units for which you want to assign a different kind of material, right?
Yes.
So what you can do is you can press shift While selecting all these like these wall units, I'm going to not include this panel. So when you go to the left hand panel now, you open this common properties of all selections, cabinet slash corner unit. You can see that you can collectively change the shutter, you can change the material, you can change the carcass material, external finish, core material, internal, everything. So let's just start with external. I can now change this to what I have in store, or I can fetch it from the catalog also. So now carcass has been changed, and you can do this for the shutter also. So shutter as well, I just open shutter material and I want this to be, let's say, cambric gray, or I want this to be American maple. So this is how you can do this, and you can even change the design also collectively.
Yeah. So we need to select all the required cabinets, and then we
Yes.
need to change their configuration.
Yes, you can change them collectively. That's not a
Uh,
issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'll just go through the in-call messages of whoever had. Yes. Someone was asking if there is any standard for placing a sink. Manu Mittal? Manu Mittal?
यस मैम
Yes. Did
मैम
you have?
मैम जो सिंक लगा रहे थे हम उसमें आपने बताया था कि उसको साइज को प्लस माइनस करके चेक करते रहना है बट इसमें कोई स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है हम ये वाला सिंक यूज कर रहे हैं एग्जैक्ट उसी लोकेशन में है
So the sync models you use are up to you, and if you want to add any syncs, you can add them separately into the catalog, right? So the model is up to you.
एंड हम जो इसमें कारकेस का हम टॉप पैनल में उसमें रेल सेट कर रहे थे उसमें हमने उसको 1 इंच पे सेट कर दिया था इसमें आप
Ye-
काउंटर टॉप को एक बार रिमूव करना
Yes, yes, these rails, right?
हाँ मैम इसमें स्ट्रेंथ कैसे आएगी
How did I change this?
मैम चेंज तो हमने कर दिया था एक्चुअली इसमें मुझे स्टैंडर्ड चाहिए स्टैंडर्ड कौन सा रहेगा एक्चुअली जो
Yes,
अगर इसको 1 इंच पे सेट कर देंगे तो इसमें स्ट्रेंथ की कमी आ जाएगी
that's correct. By default, what it was actually is, if I check here, by default, in railing, right, I had set this to 1 inch and 15 by 16. So it was almost 2 inches. But before I changed it, it was 3 inches on for
Okay.
both. So it's almost 4 inches. So that is the standard that we normally assume. But
And मैम
that's up to the designer.
ओके मैम इसमें अगर सेमी मॉड्यूलर किचन होगा शेल्फ पहले डली हुई है
Here, right? There's a shelf.
हाँ देयर शेल्फ कंक्रीट शेल्फ
Yes. So you want to know how to delete that shelf?
मैम क्लाइंट मांग रहा है कि मुझे शेल्फ को नहीं गिराना है अगर हमें सिंक यूनिट प्लेस करना है जहाँ शेल्फ पहले डली हुई है तो उसमें मैम वर्किंग कैसे होगी इसकी
I didn't really understand. So you're saying that
मैम दिस इज कंसेप्ट फॉर द मॉड्यूलर किचन
yes,
व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग राइट नाउ
yes,
but ma'am if there is a semi modular kitchen in
right.
which the concrete shelf is already placed at the client site and the height of the shelf is not adjusted as per the standards
Okay.
for that particular case ma'am how to make the carcass how to add the back panel ply in that how to add the upper panel is not possible to add in that case is there any option
Okay. So I'm not completely sure about this. So you're so suppose there is a shelf already here, like in this partition, right?
ma'am in our area many of the customers have a concrete shelf already placed over the countertop is placed on that concrete shelf
Okay.
I know there are 3 to 4 inches spaces near about 75 space is wasted in that case. We are not able to add skirting of 100 in that case.
Okay.
But we are nearly in every case we are facing this issue that how to add this sink unit. We don't have any standard for that.
Okay, so is there any particular panel that you want to switch on or off? So whatever default units you
मैम आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट पॉइंट मैम जैसे इसके टॉप बॉटम लेफ्ट राइट चार पैनल रहते हैं अपने कारकेस के तो
these,
लेफ्ट राइट
right? Yeah,
मैम
these.
हाँ लेफ्ट राइट एंड बॉटम तो मैम लग जाता है जो टॉप पैनल है वो प्लेस ही नहीं हो पाता किसी तरह से भी
This
And-
suppose there's a full one. Like if I'm actually not really able. So you're talking about these panels, right?
हाँ मैम जैसे these top panels
Yes. So it's just the railings. So in carcass, right? So these are half top rails, and if you select full, it's this one, right? That's what you mean.
ma'am these are possible in this modular chapter. I just want to know, is there any standard for that if we are making in this semi modular? In which
Semi,
there is, ma'am, semi modular means one, ma'am, in this we are working where there is not a complete slab.
there is no concrete slab.
Ma'am, if the client already placed the concrete slab over there,
Okay.
is there, ma'am, any standard how to work in sync unit in that situation?
Unfortunately, you might have to share a reference image with me so I know how to achieve it, because as what are the standards existing, I can actually check with I can check with my team actually and provide you with an answer. So
Ma'am,
currently, who is
right
your,
now I don't have the reference. Ma'am, Isha Padre ji.
sorry, who is your CS person?
Isha ma'am, Isha Padre.
Oh, Asia.
Yeah.
So this was semi-modular, right? Which organization are you, may I ask?
Modular systems.
Modular stations. Yes. Your doubt is what is the standard for in case they use a concrete slab in case like for this case, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll check with her on that and she'll let you know, or I'll let you know ASAP.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. This is for semi-modular kitchens, right?
Yes,
Yes.
semi-modular kitchens, ma'am.
Kitchen, sink unit, concrete slab. All right, I'll just contact her. I think she would have a more like a larger expertise on these matters, and we'll provide you with the best answer.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, you are. Was there anything else?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Yes. MS Rathore.
हेलो
Hello.
मैम जो किचन का प्रोफाइल डोर है ना
Yes, this one, right?
हाँ वो है वॉल यूनिट
Yes,
वॉल
wall unit.
हाँ उसका प्रोफाइल चारों ओर से सेम दिखना चाहिए देखो अभी आपका दो साइड से बड़ा है दो साइड से छोटा है प्रोफाइल नहीं है
हाँ, these are ये frame वाला ना?
ये
These
नहीं
two.
दूसरी तरफ वाला
These.
हाँ
Yes. So we have chosen the same design for this, but actually the frame it gets stretched slightly according
हाँ
to
फ्रेम ऊपर नीचे
the
छोटा
size.
है और साइड से बड़ा है ना
Yes, that is because we import the design into the catalog, and depending on depending on the size of the frame, so it adjusts itself accordingly. So that's why it stretches like that.
हिंदी
Huh. I'm not really that good at Hindi. I'll just try. And so जो frame है ना वो
हाँ
catalog में import होगा. So और ये कैबिनेट साइज के अकॉर्डिंग ये स्ट्रेच होगा, इसलिए समटाइम्स थोड़ा डिस्प्रोपोर्शनल होना है, बट if you want it to be same on all sides, then you will have to separately upload keeping the overall total size in mind, and this frames, the border frames proportional, and then you can upload it accordingly.
और मैम जो इनसाइड वुड शेल्फ इसको ग्लास शेल्फ कैसे करें?
How do you make this glass shelf? हाँ, you have to इस पे क्लिक करना है और जो पैनल के टैब में जाके सिलेक्ट मटेरियल्स, इसमें लेफ्ट हैंड पैनल वाले आफ्टर पैनल टैब क्लिक करने के बाद क्लिक ऑन मटेरियल्स. नाउ मटेरियल सोर्स से you have सेल्फ पे क्लिक करना है ताकि वो it does, so it won't take from the carcass and it won't take from the shutter, it'll be its own. Now core material को change करना है, तो अभी वो 12 mm का BWR ply है, इस पे click to change, select glass ply, और दो तरह like दो type है, you can click on plain glass, and now it has been changed.
Okay.
Yeah. This
मैम
I
जो
can,
एक मैम और डाउट है, जो सिंक लगा है उसके टैप कैसे लगाएंगे अभी?
this one, the sink.
हाँ.
You have to click on the sink.
हाँ.
Just this sink's depth, right? Furniture / light unit you have to select.
हाँ.
और ये depth है, तो अभी 1 foot 7 inches है. You have to, let's मान लो कि I'm typing in just 1 foot. So this is how you change the overall, just an example of how you change the depth. You can change it like this as well.
Okay.
So this is the width, height and depth.
और टैप कैसे लगाएं मैम? टैप
Tap. So this जो मैंने choose किया वो tapless है, तो if you want to replace it, furniture light unit जाके click on remove furniture light unit, or again you have to select this, then click on go to countertop, select show actually, and click on add sink, और the दो options है with tap and tapless. Or जो have to select the same one with tap, then I have to click here and click on this handmade sink. And then after that, I have to select this and then make the adjustments. So I go to furniture light unit, I click on rotate, and then I shift it. In Z, I type in not 0, I type in 3 feet, and in X, I type in 0. So now it's been shifted, and you can click on this, click on furniture light unit and change the width also. So in this way, you can actually change dimensions and position, rotation, everything. If this is for corner unit.
ओके. और मैम जो ये वीडियो अभी रिकॉर्ड है ये कहाँ मिलेगा हमें?
This, when it's ready, your CS will share the link with you. You can see this whenever you want.
ओके. और मैम स्क्रीन रिकॉर्डिंग हम कैसे कर सकते हैं खुद?
ये already record, it's already being recorded.
अगर हम खुद करना चाहे तो?
That, yes, you can do that also. So, but it will anyway be recorded. Yeah, this is being recorded right now.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, is it possible to make 2 shutters in blind corner?
2 shutters in blind corner. So yes, 1 second. I'll just add one. You have a blind corner unit, right, in your catalog?
Yes.
So in corner units, I click on this. This is the one you've used?
Yes. Ma'am. Straight. Yes.
And you want to change this into 2 shutters.
Yes.
So you have to click on this shutter and go to shutter system tab and change the shutter mechanism. This shutter mechanism जो है, you have to change it to double swing if this is the type of one that you want. This you can do for any shutter.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I have a doubt regarding the admin portal. Now I got a clarity on the designing.
Okay.
in the admin portal. Before that, can I share my screen, ma'am?
Okay, go ahead.
Ma'am, is my screen visible now?
Yes, yes, it is.
Ma'am, actually, now you said before starting a design, we
Mhm.
need to add materials, right? I mean, set the materials in the preference settings.
Yes, if you don't want to
Yes.
change them later,
Oh,
you can, but this is easier.
okay. But
Okay.
how can we give the pricing for those materials, ma'am? I mean, for
Yes,
BWP, we are using a carcass material, BWP. For the
yes,
finishes like acrylic laminates, different materials, right? How
yes.
can we give the pricing for them? Suppose,
Okay.
and
Yes.
before that, one more thing, ma'am.
Yeah.
Suppose we need to clone the materials, right? Before that, everything.
Yes, you'll need to clone the materials. Why? Because if you click on the settings icon now against, let's say, this particular group, like
Yeah,
each
this
thumbnail,
one.
you click on this,
Yeah.
right? You won't, when you click on edit SKU properties at the top of this list.
Okay.
So we click on pricing sales channel. So you'll just be able to add it for this. So in
Before
this,
that, we need to clone, right, ma'am? I didn't clone it. I'll show. Suppose this is the solid colors from the Infurnia.
got
This
it.
is the group that we have created, that we need to clone.
Yes, yes, yes. Normally we clone items because normally things like pricing, sales channel, and those properties are normally not available for us to edit unless you clone it. But if it is available, then you can set the price there itself.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, but for most cases, you won't be able to do even that. So in that case, you need to clone it so that you'll be able to change the properties.
Okay. Suppose now I want all these laminates cloning. How can I select? Suppose now I cloned this one, only one.
Yes, you
Suppose
want to change
if
it
I
for
want
all of them.
all of them just by clicking and select clone escape to new group. Like this only, ma'am, for single.
No, I'll just share my screen.
Okay. Or do we need to select all these like,
You can select all SKUs. Select all
okay,
SKUs
uh,
here. So now everything's been selected. Go to bulk
yes,
actions.
bulk actions,
You can click on bulk edit.
bulk edit.
So now this is we are going to change the price, right? So we click on bulk edit now.
I want to clone everything and I want to make pricing for everything equal at once. Is it possible?
Then what you can do is you can try cloning, just close this particular window. If you just want to clone this entire subcategory, right?
First of all, I need to clone entire laminates, all these laminates.
But is there any particular reason why, like if you're able to change the price for it, then do you still want to clone it? Because you can then directly change the price here itself.
No, ma'am, these are from the Infurnia, right? Suppose if we want to use the laminates, we need to clone everything to according to our organization, right?
What by owned it means that it's owned by somebody else. But if it's added by Infurnia, then it is editable by you. If these are globally available, then you can edit them.
Can we use these laminates in our designs?
You can use them in your design. They're in your catalog.
Okay, so I mean, we don't need to clone these laminates.
No, not unless you want to keep a different price for this copy and keep a different price for the other copy.
No, ma'am. Actually, we need to give the pricing according to our organization so that we have to clone them, right?
Right. So, but
So,
you like, let's say this belly steak, right? For one finish, you're keeping only one type of price for that, right? Which is
yeah,
according to your company.
yes.
So you don't have to create, you don't have to add a second type of price, right? Then directly you can add, you can put a price for all of these together.
Okay.
So for that, you can go to bulk actions,
Input actions.
bulk edit. Then go to
Price.
scroll down and until you go to proceed to editing or something like that.
Here only it is.
You'll have to scroll down. Yeah, go to proceed to editing. And individual SKUs.
Individual. Okay.
Yes, because, or are you going to set the same price for all of them?
Yes.
Then you can go back. Then you can click on go back. Next to proceed to, yeah, this one. And then click on all SKUs at once because
Okay.
they're going to set the same price for everything.
Hmm.
Select that. Click on sales channels. And select the sales channels that you want to add this to. So click on select sales channel. So, okay, we only have this. So you only have one. So this is fine. So it's already been mapped by default. So you can leave this and go down. Scroll downwards. And now you can see in default, you can click on the price, which is mixed.
Do I need to click it?
Just check it and see. In price, you can put in the
Is
price.
this price only for the laminate?
These are only, you have only selected the laminates. So
Yes.
you can put the price, which is going to be the same for all of them. So you can put in the common price.
Okay. It means for a safety only, but I want to swipe it. So I'll add just 100.
100 per square foot, right?
Yes.
And then a tax also, you can add a collective one.
That's 13. Okay, ma'am. This is enough.
You can proceed to confirmation after that.
This is confirmation.
So you know that this is what you have changed. Then you
Hmm.
can publish the changes and you can exit. So it's a bulk action. So it'll take a while. And when it is done, it'll wait for some time and you'll be notified by mail that this bulk action has been taken.
So if I use these okay, this was done.
It's done.
So if I use these laminates in the design, so this price will affect in the quotation, right?
It will work. That is, are you subscribed to basic design or you're subscribed to cut list or advanced or something like that?
Basic design.
Oh, okay. Then basic design, then it'll not really matter that much because basic design only applies to the complete unit. So whatever price you set for the overall unit, that'll be decided by like that. Those prices will show. It won't calculate like the individual prices of its hardware, its materials, etc., and won't give a breakdown like that.
Okay, it will calculate for the whole cabinet, right?
Yes, that is if you set the price for the cabinet.
Okay. Then where can I set those prices?
You can do whatever you just did for this, but you can go to furniture and you can open the cabinet, like base unit, for example.
Okay, base units.
So the same principle, exactly. So these are anyway owned, so you can set the price in bulk.
Okay.
Yes, so you can try this out. And there will be an article on this as well, which I can send on the chat.
Oh, okay. Please share.
Yes, I'll just share it. Help, right? So whatever you did for the laminate, if you have a collective price for the base unit, then you can do it for all SKUs at once, otherwise individual SKUs. So now
On
we
these
have,
SKUs.
yes. Okay, so we don't have setting the price in bulk, but you can, whatever I'd shown you, that is how you can do it for this as well.
Okay. And one more thing, last one. Suppose
Okay.
here we have the, this is we have cloned, ma'am.
Yes.
Only these. The remaining all these are from the Infurnia only.
Okay.
These. Suppose, do I need to clone each and every separately? Or
No,
how can
no,
I
no. You could have even done this directly, just like you did for the materials.
like this only, no?
Bulk edit. Just bulk edit. And you can proceed to editing. Are these all going to have the same price?
Yes.
Then you can click on all SKUs at once and you can do the same thing.
That means no, ma'am. I want to clone everything. I mean, clone all the units.
No, it won't be, we'll have to clone them one by one. But since you're setting the price collectively, you might as well do this itself.
Okay. So if I give the pricing here, so it will affect to the whole
Yeah.
cabinets.
It'll affect all the cabinets that you have selected.
If I use those cabinets in the design, so that will affect in the quotation.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Yes, Mahadev.
Hi ma'am.
Hi. Yes, tell me.
मैम मेरे को एक डाउट
Sorry,
है मैम एक एज बैंडिंग का डाउट है
edge band. Okay.
कारकेस का एज बैंडिंग कारकेस एज बैंडिंग 0.8 mm we
Your voice is getting cut. You're on mute.
हेलो मैम अभी
Yeah, but it's your voice is breaking. But tell me.
हाँ मैम ये कारकेस इनविजिबल एज बैंडिंग 0.8 mm
Hmm.
और विजिबल एज बैंडिंग मेरे को 2 mm सेलेक्ट करना है मैडम कैसे सेलेक्ट करना है
You want to set the price for your edge bands.
नो मैडम
Then the thickness, you mean?
हाँ कैसे पिक करना है 2 mm और 1 mm
Yes. So I'll just share my screen.
हाँ मैम 1 second
I'm still sharing my screen. That's fine. So what you can see right now is that if for this, I'm setting my edge band, right? By
Yeah.
default, it is 0.8 in thickness, but you can change it to, you said 2 mm, right?
Yeah, set up 2 mm.
Yes. So you have to use the admin portal for that. So you have to duplicate this tab. You can go to admin@infurnia.com. Now
Okay.
let's say I'm closing this. I'm just going to go to admin portal. I go to project. I go to catalog,
Yeah, select hardware.
edge band.
Okay.
Now all of this is 0.8 inch from what I can see here. In order to make, let's say I want to make a copy of this, but
Okay.
in terms of thickness. So I click on this settings icon here.
Okay.
And I'm cloning the SKU to the same group itself. I
Okay.
don't want it to be.
Okay.
Also, what we
Same.
have here, we have some others as well. You have 1
Okay,
mm,
1 mm. Okay.
but I'm adding a 2 mm one now. I
Okay.
clone the SKU to the same group.
Okay.
And I'm going to type in, let's say, I'm going to type in 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to clone this sales channel, everything. And I click on submit. Now what happens is this has been opened, and just
Okay.
make sure that you're on this correct name. And then you have to click on edit SKU properties.
Okay.
Then you have to go to thickness.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you just type in 2 mm. Just type in 2. This is considered an mm only. And then you update the details.
Okay.
That's all. So now when you close this design and you refresh this page, then this will be added to your catalog, hopefully. So I'll just open that and show. I'll open the 3D. This one, right? I'm going to open this, go to edge band, dark gray. I'll click to change this. This beige one here, I can just select this 22 into 2. And I click on this thumbnail and it has now been applied. A 2-inch edge band, 2 mm edge band.
Okay.
Right?
हाँ मैम और तो बस
All
और
right.
एक डाउट है मैडम लास्ट वन
Okay.
अभी हमने डिफॉल्ट एज बैंडिंग आता है ना कैबिनेट क्रिएट करके उसके ऊपर हमने लैमिनेट सब डाल दिया है
हाँ.
मटेरियल अप्लाई होने के बाद उसका डिफॉल्ट कलर ले सकते हैं क्या वो एज बैंडिंग कोड ऑटोमेटिक
You want to reset it to default?
नो नो मैडम
No.
अभी मैंने ग्रीन कलर का डाल दिया है कलर शटर का कलर डाल दिया ग्रीन कलर
Shutters colors green, let's say. Okay.
हाँ उसके बाद उसका एज बैंडिंग भी ग्रीन कलर ही आना चाहिए ना
Yes, yeah, you want to change the edge band for that.
वो ऑटोमेटिकली आता है क्या मैनुअली हम सेट करना पड़ेगा
No. You have to manually put it. So when you click on shutter here,
हाँ
you have to click on this visible edge band.
एज बैंड
That is because edge band, they don't know if you want. So by default, if there's no edge band, that means it'll match, like the edge you see is matching the shutter anyway. So because it's an exposed one, right? But
okay.
if you want to add a different one, then you can click on visible edge band and apply something different like this. So let's say this shutter, this you understood?
हाँ मैम
Any other doubt?
No ma'am, this is we have to apply manually.
Yes, you'll if you want a separate edge band, you'll need to apply it manually. Otherwise, it'll just assume that there is no edge band and it'll just take up that core ply, that material.
Okay.
Yes. So if this is green, let's say the shutter is green in color or even blue in color, then you still have to apply this on your own. Go to shutter.
Shutter, visible edge banding.
Yes, and then choose your blue. I can type in blue just to see what all we have, and then you can choose it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay ma'am. मैडम अभी एक डाउट है अभी मल्टीपल कैबिनेट सेलेक्ट करके अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ क्या मैं एज बैंडिंग
If you click on these two, then cabinet corner unit, change material, change shutter material, visible edge band.
Okay.
Where you can collectively change. हाँ, yeah. इन दोनों को.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay ma'am, thank you.
No problem. I think there was some other questions. Okay. Someone's asking how to generate cut list for imported SKU. Is she still there? Okay. Can we customize the shape of countertop drop other than rectangle in the breakfast counter? This is from Epoch Living, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No, to answer your question, not of the countertop drop itself. Like for example, you're talking about this this one, right?
Yes, ma'am. This breakfast counter drop.
Yes. You want to change this
Yeah,
shape.
we can Yeah, exactly.
No, this is a slab that's being protruded downwards, so you won't be able to change. I'm assuming you mean like a curved one or something, right?
Exactly. In SketchUp, we can customize as per like shades which we require, right? So similarly, we can do in this.
Not exactly. What you can do is, so we even if you had asked for this countertop on top, you could have done this using like a slab tool. But for this counter drop, it might be a bit difficult. Why? Because you actually can use something called tiling and cutting tool, but it's a
Okay.
very long way to go about it. To answer your question, you can't directly do it for this.
Okay.
Yes. So what you can do instead is, let's say this countertop drop, I'm going to disable it by just switching it off. And what is the length of this particular thing? This one is, it's 3 feet 11 inches, 4 out of 16. So what I'm going to be doing is I go to 3D, I click on this wall, and I go to wall tiling and cutting tool. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make that shape, like whatever shape you want for that countertop drop here
Okay.
itself. So I click on add, and let's say this is the shape that you want. I'm going to use line tools to create that shape. Something like this arc I'll use, like this, right? And I click on apply. And
Okay.
to this, I want to add, like the thickness will be maybe 40 mm.
Yeah.
So maybe how many inches would that be? That would be like a little less than 2 inches, but I'll add 2 inches anyway. And the material you can change to match the countertop. I'll just make this black granite. Now what happens is when I go back to designing, it's actually over here. This it's actually kept over here. Now what I need to do is I need to shift it in front.
Okay.
So how do I do that? I click on this, go to wall tile. The length of this was 3 feet. I'm going to make this 3 feet 11 inches 4 by 16. So I do the same here. I go to tiling cutting tool, and what I'm going to do is shift it forward by that much. So this is called front shift. So front shift is what I'm going to be shifted in front by. So that's 3 feet 11 inches 4 out of 16. And I press enter. So now it's in elevation, it appears in the same place, but it's actually shifting towards you. Now when I go back, you can see that this has been shifted slightly. If you want, you can shift this slightly more, because the measurement here, okay, it's actually 6 feet. So you can actually change this again. Click on this, go to tiling cutting tool, click on this, and instead of 3 feet, you type in 6 feet. And now this is the one that you want, right?
Yeah.
So this is a kind of shortcut you can use.
Okay.
It's a bit unorthodox, but this is what you can use for unconventionally shaped drops.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, only thing is that just don't shift it anywhere, because this is not dependent on your unit, it's dependent on the wall,
Okay, ma'am.
right?
Yep. Thank you.
All right. How to go about the corner pillar panel cutting. Yes. Was there someone who, corner pillar panel cutting? Yeah, could you explain what you mean by that?
So we in this design we had this corner pillar, right?
This one, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So if we are encountering a pillar like this, like so the box right now, what is put is like a complete box.
Yes.
So the backside panel will get cut actually. The back panel, which is a 6 mm or 12, 18 mm panel, if we put,
This will
that has to get cut. So only then it will reflect in the cut list.
correct. Yes, this is not exactly the right way to go about it. If at all, this column shouldn't have been there at all.
Yeah.
So in that case, what you can do instead is you will, instead of adding a corner unit, because that's not the right way to go about it, and we don't have these kind of custom shapes. You will just need to add like 2 different units. Like, so this one can be a separate ordinary unit, this one, and this one can be a blind unit, which means this blind part can be still there and it will just come up till this column.
Okay.
Yes, that's a one way to go about it. That is provided that you are okay with using those kind of units. So that will anyway get, so those will at least come up till the column and not be cut by it.
Okay.
Hmm.
And one more thing, what we do is for this sync units, the back panel we have just a rail.
Yes, stability rails, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That that is possible, right?
So yes, we can add stability rails here. So I think what you mean is if you select this,
yeah,
and you go to construction and you go to this these carcass here, you scroll down and you have this option called stability rails.
Okay.
Now you can choose a number of rails that you want to add. Let's say three rails, they get added here. But in this case, I'm not sure. 1 second, I'll just switch off this back panel. Okay, this is a corner unit. Okay, that's odd. Let me try for this one. I think it should work here.
Yeah.
I think if you go here and then click on carcass, and then if you switch on stability rails and add 3 rails, then it'll get added. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are 12 rails, right?
These are, yes, and you can switch off the back if you want. And yes, you can choose the height of the rails here. So this is currently, if I type in 1 inch also, this will change, like the height of the panels will change. I'm tapping 3 inches. So this height will change.
Okay.
Is what I mean. The panel itself, so that is going to be dependent on the material, like the panel type, the plies and everything. So that is at a panel level. You can change this to self, and then you can change the material and everything.
Okay. As well as this, this is one is stability rails. One more is we even instead of back panel, only for sync units, we use like a vanity units. We just have a back rail, like how the top rail is there.
Yes.
100 mm top rail, just a
Yes.
back rail is done.
Meaning you can switch off this back panel by clicking on this construction icon and selecting carcass and switching off the back panel.
Okay.
Yes. You can switch off whatever panels you want, including front, side, back, etc.
And then add the stability rails, right?
Yes, these stability rails that I've added will remain anyway, unless I choose to delete them.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And for breakfast counter, like we put a plywood and then the counter is put. So
right.
we put plywood below that. Like, will it get added, or that how we should calculate that always separate?
Okay, if I switch off this countertop here, if I hide this, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about this one.
Yes, that plywood gets extended. Basically, the top plywood gets extended for.
Yes, you can extend it. You can extend the panel. So let's say I'm keeping this on top, like this construction. I'm going and I'm clicking on carcass and I'm selecting this construction option. And this one I want to extend downwards. by a certain thickness. So I go to panel, I go to this construction icon, extension parameters, depth extension, and from the top, I want to put in like minus 13 by 16 or something like that, because I want to go down by that much. So now it is being extended downwards. And in the same manner, I click on this panel, I select this panel tab so that this thing gets selected, construction, extension parameters. Now this time I select width extension. And from the left, I want to extend it towards the left by 4 feet. Or 3 feet actually is what I should have done. So yes, now when I add my countertop back by going to cabinet level, I can show this and it will be added. So we have the ply at the bottom and the countertop at the top.
Okay. Yeah.
So I hope that helped.
The side counter I missed that side counter, how to add it. Where it is turning as L, right?
This one.
No, for this breakfast counter.
Oh, this thing, right?
Yeah, not this curve one. The straight
Okay.
edge. Even if you want a straight edge.
Yeah. Straight edge is easy. So if you click on this countertop, scroll down, click on this countertop option, and click on countertop drop. This is the one you need. Select, this is the left side you want of this cabinet. So you have to select add left. This switch on will be there. And this drop, if you open this drop down menu, it is saying the height is 3 inches. But you can change the height here. Let's say 4 feet. So now it is gone down by that much.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how you add a countertop drop to create a breakfast counter.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Yes. For Ritika Reddy, there's a detailed class already available on construction of a semi-modular kitchen. I'll share the link on the chat. So I'll just open the existing webinars. We have one on semi-modular kitchen, which was, this is the one. I'll just share the link here. So if she's still there, she can open the Meet link and she'll, yes. Any other doubts? All right. So assuming,
Just a second.
okay,
Can you share that video link also? I mean, for the
this current one?
no. For the cloning and pricing.
Yes, I can share the ones on the webinar that was conducted on basic pricing.
Okay.
Setting basic pricing, especially for units or cabinet. So I can do that as well.
Please share.
We have, yes, pricing, webinar pricing, part 1. This should, this is, I think this is the one that will help you. I'll share that as well. All right. Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am. This is for the cloning only, right?
Not
Pricing.
for cloning, but this is for basic pricing. Not sure whether it'll have bulk cloning or not. Nor, I don't think it's possible also to clone in bulk, because they will ask you to, for each SKU, they'll ask you to do it in, like to choose which group you want to send it to. But you can check this, and if there are any issues, you can get back to us.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Pricing means in this, it will be like a ply pricing also. It will be there.
That's for advanced. Basic pricing is, since you are subscribed to the basic one, right?
Actually, even I don't know which subscription I have. Can
And
I?
just in
Can
case, yeah, just in case, I'll send you the advanced one as well.
Okay. Ma'am, can you tell me? I will share my screen. I will go into this user interface also. Can you tell me which subscription I have?
I can tell you that. What's the name of your organization?
It's Simplify Home, ma'am.
Simplify Homes.
Yes.
All right. Are you able to see my screen?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll check then. So Simplify Homes. I think yes. Okay, you have advanced pricing also. So the whatever you have set for your materials, it's going to make a difference. It'll actually affect your pricing
Yes.
itself. So yes, you are subscribed to advance. So you can refer to this bottom link I've sent you. Will help you.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you share the session of wall ceiling and lighting wall options?
That will be there. That is there in our help library. I'll send that as well. Creating false ceiling, right? With the lighting
Yes,
and all.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, especially with cove lighting, that I think that is the one you might want.
Okay.
False ceiling. I'll share both false ceiling videos with you. You can refer to this.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is for creating a cove light with a false ceiling going around the slab.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Yes, then I think that'll bring us to the end of this session. Thank you very much once again. I hope this meeting was helpful, especially for whoever is kind of new to the software and wants to a head start on how to add kitchen units, etc. So,
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
yes, thank you so much, everyone. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.